this has been a very fun project, the grafted tree. Then I have, and there's actually some fresh grafts on there now of Maha Chinook, and hopefully they take. That would be pretty cool for that. This is a Pickering mango, which was my favorite last season. It's unbelievable. My Suffering sugar apple, which again isn't going to be here. Most of this stuff is not going to be up here like this, but until the back's ready, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do about it, unfortunately. Yeah, this carried some really good sugar apples last season, and I don't want it to carry anything this season because I want it to just grow and heal, because it's not had the easiest life. Here's the beginnings of the Jabotacaba hedge. I put a little red in the ground here. It's just a little too bright for it, so I need a little shade. And here's a scarlet Jabotacaba that I bought from a leaf again, and it's flowering nicely. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll hold some fruit. That would be pretty. That would be nice. Considering I've only had it for about 8 months. This is as the Jabotacaba hedge goes on, another red that Danny gave me, and it's also fruited. Abiu, this won't be here. It's fine. This won't be here. I just don't have where to put it right now. It's really very frustrating. Yellow Jabotacaba, grafted Roxapulpa, and that is a Sapodilla. Butterscotch Sapodilla. This is my first attempt at dragon fruits. It's stalled for like a year, and now it's flowering at a really weird time, considering it just didn't do anything. These are all multi-grafts, so I put every variety on here as well. It's 3 plants, 6 varieties so far. So it's cool that these are flowering. I need to get it out of my path. People don't know how to access my house. They get very confused. And I was like, wow, people just can't figure it out. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense that they don't understand. This is not conducive to easy egress. This is the fruit punch mango I put in. This is probably the second tree I put in on the property, and it's going kind of crazy, and it's kind of freaking me out again about height because stuff's planted not super far from each other. These are some Jabos that I've been just caring for under here. Everything's on drip irrigation now too. I didn't mention that, but since the last video I've put drip irrigation on, and it's really the only way to do this. I mean, there's no middle ground. Just get irrigation and make your life so much happier. I mean, I come out here every day anyway, but with drip, I'm not just spending endless amounts of time watering. I'm actually doing things that I might want to do. This little Jabo I got from Amazon, I don't know what it is. It's really cool. It was, technically speaking, the first Jabotacaba I bought. And man, I couldn't get rid of it. I couldn't graft onto it. I decided to keep it. I put it in one of these air pots, and these pots are the best pots I've used, period, bar none. Everything that I put in them is happy. I mean, this is what I want to do. I don't know how well the bigger sizes will hold up, but for what I'm doing right now, unbelievable. Ground cherry that I put in, and I tried to trellis up, but I kind of forgot about, and now it just is ground cover, and it does drop these awesome little ground cherries. Here we go. And they really are good. And the floor will be littered with them. These are heat tolerant tomatoes I put in. This used to be, in the last video you'll see it's a huge pepper bed, and I realized I don't need 6 Carolina Reapers. They really, they're too much. And they were shading everything out. So I put in 2 tomatoes, an eggplant, and I left 2 peppers, the lemon jalapeno and the sugar rush peach. And I hope this, yeah, I need a little bit more water, honestly. That's okay, I'll take care of that later. But yeah, and an eggplant, Black Beauty. My little avocado that I can't seem to find a spot for. Actually, we're not quite there yet. I'll get an avocado off of that. It's a super Haas. It had 2 on there. I pulled one green because I didn't realize they weren't supposed to do that. So, oops. To the compost. The creme brulee mango, this was originally here. I'm going to cut it back. It does need a, topping. But also, I need to move it. Like, this can't stay here because something happened and a cha-cha got planted here. And this was probably smaller, but again, one of the early things I planted, I didn't really know what I was doing. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with. But this achacho, after sitting for about a year, is continuing to push nicely, and I'm happy. That's a really cool tropical fruit. My sunflower patch, which needs attention, but have been so fun. I've been having so much fun growing these big sunflowers. I think I probably needed to perhaps plant them a little further apart. But man, they have grown so big. I'm gonna cut the heads off and see if I can coax more flowering heads. And maybe cut this off here and like pick it up and see if we can get more flowers off of it. That would be cool. Oh, it's gonna rain. That's why it's nice out. This is a cotton candy mango. Over here I had planted those anonas, the sour sop and the PPC Atamoya. I had those planted out here, and they did nothing for like 7 months. And finally I dug them up, put them under the porch, and they're coming back very nicely. And I haven't mentioned the passion fruit flower pile, but that's because I don't like to address it. I don't like to even talk about it existing, because honestly, I've not wanted to deal with it. Here we are, and it is beautiful. I come out in the mornings, and it's covered in butterflies, and it is absolutely a wonderful experience. This is a self-sterile variety, so with all these flowers, if I don't have a cross-pollination plant, I don't get fruit, which is really the worst possible way to do this, is to have a pile and have it self-sterile. But I haven't been able to cut it back because honestly I just feel guilty. The bees and the butterflies are freaking out about it, and until I know what's going to be what over here, I'll probably cut it way back today, because again, I've been having to cut it off of this cotton candy mango, lemon meringue mango, and it's actually even getting onto this variegated sapodilla, which is, so I'll reduce the diameter of it. But I've been happy because it's very effective ground cover. I haven't had to deal with weeds. I haven't had to deal with a lot of the stuff that I had to deal with, like this grass. None of this grass was here. Like, I'm gonna have to deal with all this at some point. This was all mulch before, but because I had this growing out here, under all this, there won't be any grass. So that's, a benefit. Maybe I'm just justifying not having handled it already. This is granadilla that I have growing on this palm that the city made me plant. But it's not going to be around too long. This is the sugar cane that I cut back last week. It's already doing this to propagate. And this is where the finger lime was, the red finger lime that got scorched. We were here, and in one day it got absolutely burnt back. My Sabra jaboticaba, it has been very frustrating, this specific tree. When I got it, flowering in the pot, fruiting in the pot, got some fruit, really had to flood it, and put it in the ground, and it's been really stubborn ever since. It's on drip now, and it's bumpy as all hell. Like, it's threatening to flower everywhere. But it's, in the last, say, 6 or 7 months, I've gotten one fruit off of it, which I planted. It's with seedlings. Variegated banana here. This is where all my compost goes, basically. These are all the pepper plants. I'll let it all dry out here. If it's being stubborn, I have a chipper shredder that I'll wheel out and just shred all this once it's dry. It doesn't get well when it's wet, it clogs up. so I try to avoid doing that. This is a different kind of passion fruit flowers, and it doesn't flower nearly as often as the one in the ground because, well, it's in the ground. But there are two different vines there, and I could and have taken pollen from that one and used it on these flowers to get me fruit, but also the fruit isn't great, so which is again why the pile kind of sucks. But also it's absolutely covered in bees and butterflies, as I mentioned. This is a guava. It's a really cool one. It's a red guava out of a local farm here. This is a kombucha tree that I put in, and it is flowering, but it's not, and it did grab a fruit, but it didn't hold. So that's going to be a tease for a while. This is an orange sherbet mango. It's considered top tier, and it's bushy as hell, being so tiny. And this is one I'm really looking forward to, though. Some of my friends, it's not their favorite.